Hello, my fellow Templarians? Yeah, no, that's definitely not a word. Today we don red and white colors. In fact, from now on, refer to me as Master Templar, because today, ladies and gentlemen, is a battle for the ages. Arguably two of the strongest and most important Templars in the series, that were also co-workers for a bit, Haytham Kenway versus Shay Cormac. Who is the better Templar? We've done a few of these videos for the Assassins, but a lot of you in my last one requested Haytham versus Shay to discover who's the better Templar, and well, this is an extremely close one. I have a feeling a lot of people will be 50-50 on this, but I'm gonna do my best to compare the two and give my opinion on who was the better Templar. And for clarification, I'm not so much talking about who would win in a fight, though that is part of it, but rather who was the better Templar overall and best served the Father of Understanding. Well, technically the Father of Understanding isn't a person, I guess, but you know what I mean. But now that I'm like Shay and have defected to the Templars, I'm kidding, Ezio, I would never. Let's see who's the better Templar among these titans. So I think a very important category to consider would be each character's contributions to the Order. So as we all may know, Haytham Kenway was the first Templar Grand Master of the Colonial Rite. Him and his constituents nearly wiped out all of the assassins in the colonies, although a lot of that was thanks to Shay. Obviously, Haytham played a big part too, and established a permanent Templar presence in the colonies, until of course his reign was cut tragically short thanks to Haytham having a little soft spot for his son Connor, and Connor repays him by killing him. Those stupid assassins. I'm just kidding, Connor. I love you. But obviously Haytham's care for his son was ultimately his downfall, and in his final moments, it seems Haytham chose his own son over the Order. Now, since a very large chunk of Shay's tenure as a Templar is unknown, during that time between stopping Achilles and his assassins, and assassinating Charles Dorian in Paris, it's a little hard to know the full extent of Shay's contributions to the Order. However, like I said earlier, Shay was really the main reason why Haytham was able to establish a Templar presence in the colonies, since Shay took out nearly every assassin. He was also the one who knew about the destruction the precursor boxes could deal if removed from their locations, and he effectively saved thousands of lives. He then of course recovered the precursor box from Charles, and presumably had a part in starting the French Revolution and continuing to search for more precursor artifacts. And we know Shay remained a Templar until death, never once betraying the Order. Both made big and crucial contributions to the Templar Order, and it's a bit ironic because they worked together to do it, and if Shay wasn't there to help Haytham and the Colonial Templars, then who knows what that conflict even looks like by the time Connor and AC3 comes around. As for each Templar's physical ability, that's also very closely contested, I think. Haytham, of course, was a very refined and skilled swordsman who had been trained since he was 6 years old, while Shay was trained as an assassin for years, something Haytham admittedly didn't have. Then again, if the two were to actually fight, that would be an incredibly tough battle. I think they'd be extremely evenly matched. I'd certainly pay to see that fight, my goodness. I mean, that is such a tricky one to try and predict. On the one hand, Shay may be the better close quarters fighter. I mean, he made light work of so many assassins, the ultimate hunter. But on the other hand, I think Haytham is certainly the more intelligent of the two and a better strategist. He'd probably have some sort of plan going into this fight, you can imagine. I mean, keep in mind he bested Connor, and even though Connor was injured, Haytham only lost in the end because he chose to spare Connor. With someone like Shay, that obviously wouldn't be the case, and the demon would be let loose. For me, I think I'd give the very, very slight edge to Haytham if the two were to fight, but honestly, I understand if you think Shay would win. Regardless, that's a good fight. Too bad they were always on the same side. That would have been so fun to watch. However, I do believe Shay is definitely better at stealth. I think his background and training as an assassin is a big part of that, since obviously assassins focus a lot more on stealth than Templars, not to mention all the unique tools Shay has for stealth, like the air rifle. He's definitely the stealthier of the two. Not to say Haytham's not stealthy, he's obviously still very capable, as we saw at the beginning of AC3 with that awesome theater assassination. Very assassin-like, Haytham. Edward would be proud. But which of the two had a stronger belief in the Templar Order and what it strived for? Something I always noticed in Assassin's Creed Rogue is that Shay didn't seem to care so much for controlling people or taking away free will. He really just wanted to save innocent people, and the assassins were being stupid and didn't really know what they were doing at the time. But it never really felt like Shay totally believed in the order and control that the Templars strived for. Unlike Haytham, who on multiple occasions voiced his belief in the Templar Order and taking away freedom, minimizing the chaos. Despite the fact that Haytham's father and his own son were assassins, his beliefs seem to align very well with the Templars. Again, to me, Shay never really seemed all that interested in the Templars' ideals, although I imagine that changed eventually if he stayed with them for the rest of his life. So it all comes down to this. We talked about each Templar's contributions, combat ability, stealth, intelligence, their belief and loyalty to the Order. Which one of these deadly Templars was overall the better and more influential member? This is probably the toughest decision I've had to make in these videos thus far, but if I have to choose, I'm going to give the slight edge of better Templar to Haytham Kenway. Haytham made massive contributions to the Order, is arguably one of the smartest characters of the series, and an absolute force to be reckoned with. Shay hunted down the assassins like no other and played a big role in dismantling the colonial creed, but there is still a lot of his life afterwards that we don't know a ton about, so I don't think I can confidently say he's a better Templar than Haytham. But of course, that's just my opinion. Feel free to let me know down in the comments who you think the better Templar is and why. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and considered subscribing to the channel if you're new. Big thank you to my members, and other than that, thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day, No. Wait, have a great rest of your day, Templars.